Okay, Northcentral Infused. This is April now, and if you're watching our video podcast, you'll notice that things are a little different around here. We are practicing social distancing. I would like to say that I think that we have exceeded the 6 foot rule. I think we're probably about 8 feet in between each of us. So to try and quell or flatten the curve of the spread of
I think we should do this every month.
You don't want to sit close to JD.
Well, at least he's back with us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
After we got a complaint or concern that he wasn't with us one month.
Yeah, that was the rebranding, and of course, a lot has changed in the course of 30 days, as we've seen here. So we are talking primarily about the spread of the coronavirus, COVID-19, and so we have our usual folks here, our CEO and General Manager, Kevin Doddridge.
Hello.
Our Director of Safety and Loss Control, JD Cox.
Good to be here.
And our Director of Marketing and Economic Development, Michael Bellapani.
Thanks, Justin.
And so I'm just going to toss to you, Kevin, and let you say what you have to say. I know there's a lot to talk about today. So.
Well, there is, and we'll try to keep it short for you. We know you're being deluged by a lot of videos and podcasts, but I want to update you on how we're handling things here at Northcentral, and it's amazing the difference that several weeks can make. I could probably never imagine that we would find ourselves in this situation, but here we are, and I'm glad that we're handling it well. As news of the virus spread, we started taking into consideration things that we may need to do. And we established some priorities, and those priorities are going to be that we're going to keep our employees and our members safe. There's nothing that we need to do that puts that in jeopardy. Also, as we are an essential service, essentially we have got to keep the power on, and we're going to do what's necessary to do that. And then some ancillary things will be that we're going to try to make sure that people that want new service get it. It may not be in the time frame that we're normally accustomed to, but we're going to get it to them. Some things that we're doing here, and I'll let JD and Michael probably give you some specifics, but some early decisions that we made on or about the same time that Governor Reeves declared his state of emergency was determined that we are an essential service, and most of the things that the governor has declared we don't have to necessarily comply by, but there are certain things that we can, and those things that we can, we are going to. We immediately closed our lobby down. That was an effort to satisfy the number one concern, protecting our member and then protecting our employees. Then we made decisions to start staggering shifts, to do the social distancing, a variety of things that we've done, having some employees work from home that can. Those are some things that we've done to really, hopefully, inhibit the spread of this virus. As time has come along, we received the order yesterday, the shelter-at-home order. Now, the shelter-at-home order, as far as it affects us, is very similar to the way the state of emergency did. It doesn't apply to us directly, and most everything that we chose to do coming out of that initial state of emergency, really we're doing as part of this order as well. Now, we did meet today to discuss some of the details of the order, and what we're going to do is we're probably going to increase the staggering of shifts somewhat. We're going to see if there's more people that can work from home, maybe people that can work from home briefly then come in. But we want to make sure that we're able to keep the essential duties going along. And right now, you cannot enter our lobby, but you can certainly call us. You can pay, and Michael will give you several examples of how you can pay your bill, and our drive-through window is still open as well. In consideration of our members and at the recommendation of the state, there is a moratorium on disconnecting people for lack of payment of their power. That is something that we cheerfully complied with. We think that's a good idea as well. Now, let's not confuse that with being forgiven the bill. Mm-hmm. You will have to pay that bill at some point. The moratorium, I believe, was for an initial 60 days. We'll see how that plays out. It could last a little bit longer. I would advise people that are going through financial hardships right now, and I think Michael's got some information on some things they can do. But if you're in a financial hardship right now and you just can't pay the bill, don't be concerned about having your utility shut off. If you're in a hardship and you just can't pay the full amount it would be helpful if you tried to go ahead and pay what you could, because what we don't want to see is we get to the end of this and people have dug themselves such a deep hole that it's almost impossible to dig out of. And when I say dig out of, I'm talking about having a large bill in arrears. Then we get to the summer months when you see some higher bills coming along the way. So we will work with you on that, but we don't want to find our people and our members in a position they just can't dig themselves out of. As always, our phone lines will be open. Our cashiers will be at the drive-through window. We're taking this thing hour to hour, day to day, trying to, as I said, stay safe, keeping our distance, washing our hands, making sure that we keep everyone safe and keep the power on.
Absolutely. And the number to call is 800-325-8925. We're also, our communications department is monitoring Facebook, as well as emails, info@northcentralelectric.com. We've changed that name, so make sure that it's northcentralelectric.com and not EPA anymore. So, JD, you have probably been the busiest person here upping the safety program as far as trying to keep the employees safe and everyone sanitized and distanced and safe is the main thing.
We'll want to listen to this then.
Well, when this thing unexpectedly just seemed like it come out of nowhere almost, Kevin brought the staff together, and as he said, the safety and welfare of our members and our employees were the things that we were the most concerned about. We understand that in the business that we're in, we got to keep the lights on, but in order to do that, we have to keep the employees safe and sound. So we've done a few things that Kevin's already talked about to try to keep our employees safe and healthy. One of those was staggering the shifts, and not just staggering the shifts as it relates to just numbers, but we also looked at the types of work that they were doing during that time. Our construction and maintenance crews got about a third of them coming in a day. That way we can try to maintain healthy employees here to keep the lights on should something happen. This is also the stormy and rainy season, so as best we can, we have to be prepared for that. And we're looking, as far as the type of work, some of the energized work that we do right now, we may put that off to a later date as long as we can do that and meet the needs of our members. And also, we've started sanitizing the vehicles 2 to 3 times a day. We feel like that's very important for the type of virus it is. So we spent a lot of time trying to educate our co-workers as to how to properly do that and get the products in here to do it with. Also, making sure that they had plenty of hand sanitizer, things of that nature that they could use, again, so that they could stay healthy. Should the middle of the night somebody's power go out, there would be someone there to respond to get the power back on. And then, as far as reminding our members, just a few things that we would like to cover to make everyone informed. As far as the websites you can look at, the CDC, the Mississippi Department of Health, and they're going to remind you of these same things as well, and basically avoid close contact, something that we're practicing here today. Keep that safe distance, 6 to 8 feet away. If you need to sneeze or cough, be sure to cover your mouth so that you don't get all that stuff going in the air. Most importantly, wash your hands. It's amazing that that's something that we really have to talk about, but I think that's something that we've learned through this whole ordeal, is just how important it is, not just during the epidemic, or the pandemic, I should say, but all the time. Wash your hands.
If you want to see how to wash your hands, watch an episode of MASH before they go into surgery.
Absolutely, absolutely. And something that I never realized is how many times I touched my face in a day. But when you try to avoid touching your face, and every time you're doing it, you're like, oh my goodness, I just touched my face. But they really suggest that you try to limit that as best you can. And then, some of the other habits that we don't think about as much, that's get plenty of sleep. Physical activity. Now, we can't go out and get in large groups anymore, But individual outside activities, those are definitely things that we need to do. During this time, one of the things a lot of people don't talk about is managing stress. Everybody's at home. The kids are not going to school. After a few days, that starts to set in. So the stress, we've definitely got to talk about that, think of ways to manage that, realize that it's there, drink plenty of fluids, and also there are plenty of things that you can eat to help keep you healthy. So those are just kind of some of the things that we're reminding not just our coworkers about, but our members as well. And please just stay in touch, stay plugged in to the different news outlets, websites.
And make sure it's a legit site,
And deal with the facts. You know, we're not trying
Stay
to...
plugged in until you've just had enough. You may have to unplug sometimes to get back to JD's stress comment, but if you've had enough, step away from it.
Just make sure it's a good source. Like you
Right.
said, CDC, Department of Health. You know, there's a lot of bad information going out there. We've all seen it on
Babylon Bee, The Onion.
Yeah. Those are not legitimate.
That's not legitimate.
And the last thing that I'd like to add to that is, you know, there's a tendency when this thing first happened, everybody ran out and just cleared out the grocery store shelves.
Don't hoard.
You know, just go and get what you need for a few days, you know, and make sure that we're looking out for one another. I think that that's a real important thing to do. And if there's someone there that is shut in because of illness, they can't really get out, maybe their age, things of that nature, you know, call them up and see if you can help them out. I think it's a real important time right now for us to love our fellow man and look out for our fellow man.
And something that I saw today is that I think, I know at least the Memphis mayor's saying, you know, if you're doing a grocery store run, do not make it a family trip. Send one person if you can. So I think that's some things to consider. Now, unfortunately, we've in the communications department have had some bad news, and I'll throw that to you, Michael.
Yeah, I hate to start out on a down note with that, but
That's your job.
yeah, that's JD's job normally. But no, as most of you know, every year we have our National Washington, D.C. Youth Tour trip. So we've got roughly 1,800 high school juniors from across the country that converge for National Youth Day in Washington, D.C. The tough decision by our National Trade Association, NRECA, the decision was made last night and announced this morning that that has been canceled. We, as a group and through the Electric Cooperatives of Mississippi, had a conference call this morning. We'll continue to have discussion on what we can do for these students, these fine students that earn this opportunity when the dust settles, so to speak, from all this. So a lot of uncertainty as to what that will look like. Because we don't know what the timing of this is. But unfortunately, those students will not be able to make the trip to Washington, D.C. this summer in June, and we regret that we had to pass that information along. There are just a couple of things I wanted to cover as far as our business continuity is concerned. Yes, we are still open. We're still open for business through the drive-through. We're conducting a lot of our normal CSR work through the drive-through as well. That sometimes translates into longer lines and longer wait time. And we want to offer opportunities for our members to be able to take care of the business with their utility bill and not have to wait in a long line. And on certain due dates, we may see that, several cars backed up. So use this time to learn how to use the app. Download, take advantage of a free service, our app through the App Store and Google Play. Right on your mobile device, you're able to monitor your usage, you're able to manage your account and pay your utility bill. And I'm going to announce it for the first time here, and Kevin, don't throw anything at me. We're gonna give away $50 randomly to whoever makes a payment on their Northcentral app between now and May 1st. So anybody that uses that app to make a payment, will reward them as a drawing for $50.
Got to download the app now.
You have to download that.
A lot of folks already have it, but yeah, there's some folks that don't. So go to the App Store on your Apple device, and that's not just iPhones. You can get it on your iPad if you have one of those. And then also with Google devices, tablets and phones, so you can download that there. It's free. You register and you can pay your bill, and we'll even send you a little reminder if if you have a major bill that month. But it's a great little device tool to have on your
really
smartphone.
is.
So.
And if you're not comfortable doing that, you can visit our website, our secure website, northcentralelectric.com. We've got a web portal. You can log in and manage your account that way. And there's just many ways to manage your account during this time and not have to leave the house. So, and we'll even accept your payment by phone if you call us at 800-325-8925. Another point I wanted to make is during these times, I know a lot of events have been canceled and postponed, and this time of year there are a lot of fundraisers that our nonprofits put on that have either had to punt their event into the summer or just cancel it altogether, and we feel that pain alongside them, and just want to assure that everybody that we've sponsored for golf tournaments or fundraisers or whatever, we're still there to support you. So whatever you have to decide about your event, we're here with you. So just to reassure our nonprofits that they won't lose that sponsorship. We will be announcing shortly, we've got 8 scholarship winners. North Central gives away $1,500 scholarships, and we'll be making an announcement on social media and through our Today in Mississippi magazine. I don't know that we'll be able to present these scholarships in person, but we have 8 students we've selected that applied for that scholarship, and congratulate them for that. And just real quickly and lastly, I wanted to kind of go over the CARES Act. A lot of people are business owners. Small businesses are struggling right now. While we can support them locally, we're going to do that. But just to pass a little bit of information along and some clarity, the Small Business Administration through the CARES Act has some programs available. There are loans available for businesses fewer than 500 employees. That includes co-ops and tribal businesses, sole proprietors, independent contractors, and a lot of private nonprofits are eligible to borrow money through the SBA. I've understood that you need to get your applications in quickly for these loans. And in some instances, I understand that those loans will be forgiven if it is used to either pay your rent, mortgage, utility, payroll, most importantly, and retain those employees. So those loans are fairly easy to get, if anything's easy with the federal government. But I think the time to act is now, and that'll help you bridge the gap and not have to send somebody home, hopefully, without pay. There's also an emergency grant available. You can apply for these online at sba.gov. /disaster, or check with your local lender. I know a lot of our community banks around here and our state chartered banks, our nationally chartered banks are offering these services. So pick up the phone and call your banker or go to sba.gov/disaster.
Okay, and so if you need to keep up with anything that we're doing, we've added a new ticker to our website.
Yes.
Of course, right now it says that the lobby's closed. We are trying to do everything we can to keep everyone safe, not just our members, but our employees as well. And so we are still, that's the main thing we wanted you guys to know. We're still keeping the power on, and we're doing it as safely and effectively as possible.
I think that's probably one of the strongest takeaways that we need. Mm-hmm. I'd like to, as we near our close, and reiterate something that JD said when he talked about we're going to work safe. And even though we can't get together in the break rooms like we did, we're still getting everybody together, separated, and having safety moments in the morning. But we want to accent that now even more, and he mentioned the hot work. We're going to do hot work as necessary to keep the lights on if needed. But at the end of the day, we just cannot have anybody get hurt right now and move into an already strained hospital system. That's something that we've thought a lot about, and that just can't take place. And JD brought that to our attention, and we've just got to work real hard to make sure that that doesn't happen. And also, I'd like to give a big thank you to all of our members. They've been inconvenienced. We have too. And our members have been inconvenienced in several different ways. And things are changing daily in the way we're operating. But we're going to stand by those things earlier that we said are most important. We're going to keep everybody safe, and we're going to keep the power on. We may have to do some unconventional things to do that, but that's what we're going to do.
All right. Anything else, guys?
And I would like, my last closing thing would just be, let's remember all the other people out there that are going to work every day in the grocery stores and the restaurants, giving us our food through the drive-thrus and things of that nature. They're really helping us out. And as we are evaluating our work as we move forward, we pride ourselves on how fast we provide service to our members. But as we move forward with this, I'd just like to remind everybody to please be patient with us and in trying to keep our employees safe and making sure that someone's here to respond to you if your electricity is out. That's going to require us to make some decisions about what we do from day to day. So please be patient with us going forward.
That's going to get us through this is patience and understanding right now, I think. So, and keep it in mind it's not how you feel. It's not if you're feeling great that day. It's who you might come in contact with and their vulnerabilities and what they might be dealing with, and you know that's where the spread is. It's not that people aren't feeling good. It's that they're handing it off to people, and that's a big issue. So, anything else you want to add?
No, just appreciate everybody working with us as we navigate this thing. We have to make decisions seemingly by the hour as we navigate this. So,
sometimes even faster than that.
That's right.
It feels like.
But everybody be safe, wash your hands, and we'll see you again next month.
NorthCentralElectric.com, 1-800-325-8925 if you have any questions. We're here for you, and we will see you guys hopefully next month.